Hi everybody. Okay, as you remember from the story, Jazz and Elijah end up painting using beetroot paint on Ellie Mae. Okay, if you remember, Ellie Mae has a really old top that she doesn't like anymore, and I think they decided to make it a bit more exciting by painting stars and moons and suns and different things all over her top in beetroot paint. And here's a recipe here that we've got for beetroot paint. Okay, our learning objective, okay, is to identify features of a recipe. Okay, identify features of a recipe. Okay, and then to follow that recipe. Okay, now it says it here: how to make beetroot paint. Safety tip: if you are completing this recipe with children, they will need very close supervision. Alternatively, steps 1 to 3 could be completed by an adult in advance. Ingredients: 3 to 4 beetroot, cold water, 4 tablespoons of corn flour. Equipment: sharp knife, a pan, a chopping board, a bowl, a sieve or gauze cloth, a paint container, a tablespoon. And there's a little image here. Instructions: number 1. If the beetroot still has thick skin, peel it off. Then carefully chop up the beetroot into the same small pieces on a chopping board. It doesn't matter if these pieces are not all exactly the same size. Tip: wear disposable gloves and an apron to avoid staining. 2. Put the beetroot in a pan and cover with water. 3. Bring to the boil and simmer for about an hour until the beetroot is soft, adding more water. If it runs low, leave to fully cool. 4. Next, pour the mixture slowly through the sieve or gauze cloth into a bowl to remove the lumps. Squeeze out as much liquid as possible using the back of the spoon or by squeezing the cloth parcel. 5. Finally, mix the corn flour slowly to make a paste. Stir to avoid making lumps and keep adding more until you are unhappy with the paint consistency. Tip: for a stronger colour, put the remaining soft beetroot into a blender and then sieve the results again. This paint could be used to add darker details to your painting. And at the bottom, your paint is ready. Your painting will be all in one colour, so it will be important to separate the paint into a palette and add water to create different shades. The more water for the background of your painting and no water for the dark lines and shapes. So as we have here, here is the kind of a recipe or an instructions as to how to make beetroot paint. Okay. Now, there are 2 things I want you to do today. First of all, I want you to go around and look at each different section: the title, safety tip, equipment, ingredients, instructions, pictures, okay, numbering, and explain to me why it's important in a recipe to have those things. Okay, as that's what our learning objective is, isn't it? Remember, identifying features from a recipe, okay, and from instructions. Okay, so why do you have all of those things in there, and why are they useful in making a recipe? Okay, so you're looking at each of those sections. Then I want you to follow those instructions. Now, a few people have said they can't get beetroot paint and they can't get the corn flour. And that's okay if you can't. Then what I want you to do is to follow a different recipe that you can find. Okay, with the things that you have in your house. Okay, following a different recipe. Okay, and if you want to write out that recipe and then pick out the features there, that would be great. Okay, but that is the plan for the English today. Step 1. Okay, step 1. Either write down on a bit of paper all the areas, the safety tip, ingredients, equipment, instructions, pictures, numbering, okay, and why they are useful and why they are important to make a successful recipe. This first section. Number 2, then try and follow either this kind of instructions and recipe here to make the beetroot paint, or follow a different recipe at home. Once you've finished all of those things, I want you to keep practicing with your spellings, okay, as well. That carries on as well. And there's also a flag activity that's been posted as well that I want you to have a go at. Good luck, everybody, and enjoy making the beetroot paint or making the recipe that you have chosen.